Okay, so for the class 2, we had a few topics, and our topics for the class 2 are arithmetic operator, and then we kept the topic conditional statement. Actually, it will be statement, not logic. So let's start one by one. Statement. So at first, we'll discuss about arithmetic operators, and then we'll discuss about conditional statement. So the first few arithmetic operators are same as mathematics, like addition, subtraction, multiplication. It will be division, not derivation actually. Divide, divide. And then we have modulus or remainder operator, and then we'll have increment and decrement operator. So I'm going to coding one by one and then showing you how these things works. So at first, let me clear the code. I'm going to deleting all the codes. I will just keep the first line. So the first line we use to take input from the user. So whenever we will use the prompt. Yeah, sure. Speak up, Henry.
Ramis, I did it, but in Note, no, in Note, J Note, creo que se llama. J
Did
Note,
it work for you or not?
Note, Note. Well, I did it in Note. Is the same in Note and
Oh yes,
Visual
it's same.
Code?
You can give any name, no problem. It's a variable name, okay? Not a problem.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So now let me declare a variable. I wanna take input two number from the user. So I'm going to declare a variable a first, and then calling the prompt. Then it will show in the screen. Enter the first number. Then we'll ask the user to give input another number. So we'll call the prompt again, enter the second number. Okay, let me fix the spelling. So now, if we run this code, it will give us prompt to enter two number. So after getting the number from the variable a and the variable b, we'll do few arithmetic operation, and these are addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and etc. So we know that whenever you'll use the prompt command, or you will take anything any from the user, by default it will be stored as a string. I mean, it will be stored as text inside the variable. So that means after getting the input, we will need to convert the text into number. So we can do it multiple way. I'll show you one by one. So now, as I want to show the addition of two number, I'll just console and logging. So I need to pass variable inside the number method, so that this number converted into number type data, and then calling again number method, so it will now convert into number type data. So now if I run this code, this script will ask for two number, and the first number will be stored inside the variable a, and the second number will be stored inside the variable b. And then we are converting here variable a and variable b into number type data from the text type or string type data, and then we add both number and it will show in the screen. Now let me try to run this code. So I'm going to copy the name, file name, and then write out, then enter it. So it's asking me to enter the first number. I give 45 and then 34. So you can see that it's showing 79. Now let me show what happens if I don't use the number method. I mean, if I don't pass number inside the number method. So let me delete. Okay, I'm going to save it and then run it again. So 45, I'll keep the same number. So now you can see it's showing 45, 34 because the program is thinking these variable are text. So they just do text concatenation. They, the code doesn't convert the variable, the text type variable into number. So we can do it in another way, and that is we can directly convert it here. I mean, we can pass the variable inside the number method after taking the input at the very first time. The number and then closing the bracket. So now let's try to take the input again. So I'm going to give it the same number. So you could see that we got the same output 79. So this is how our arithmetic operator works. I mean, the addition operator works, and we can use the addition operator for some more complex calculation also. So now let's say we want to take input to number, and then we will show the user addition, subtraction, and division of this number, and then okay, let me tell you that I want to give the user their number of 3 subject, and then we will show the average marks. So here enter the first number, second number. Let me create another variable, and then it will be the third number. Third number. Now, if we want to show the average, so what can we do? We can just add 3 number and then divide by 3, right? So we can do it by declaring another variable, average, and then we'll use the bracket a plus b plus c, then divide by 3. So now let's show the average in the screen. The DVG average marks is, then I'm going to calling the average variable and then save it. So now let's try to run the script. So it is asking me to enter the first number and then second number and then third number. So you can see that we got average marks, and that is 63.333. So later we'll see how can we do rounding in JavaScript. Uh, we won't see how can we do round in JavaScript today. So this is how we can conduct some arithmetic operation, and that is addition. And here actually we also do division, because after adding 3 number, we divide this number by 3. Now let me show. I think the subtraction also works the same way, and the multiplication also works in the same way. Okay, so let me show you how the next operator works, and it will be modulus or remainder operation operator. So I'm going to comment out the first number. Okay, then the third line also. Now let's think you are asking the user to give a number, and then you will check whether this is a odd number or even number. So how can we do that? We can use the remainder operator to do that. So I just give prompt to the user to enter a number, and then we know that all the even numbers, if we divide any even numbers by 2, we'll have remainder 0. If we divide any odd number by 2, we'll have remainder 1. So we can use that formula here. So how can we execute that formula here? It is the percentage. We know that percentage is the remainder operator, equal. We are comparing the remainder equal 0. So that means if the number will be divided by 2 and there will be 0 as remainder, it will be even number. Otherwise, it will be false. I'm sorry, it will be odd number. So the number I am writing here, this is a even number. Okay, so it will show if it's an even number, it will show true. Otherwise, it will show false. Let me run the code. So enter a number. I will enter like 45. So it's true. This is even number, false. That means it's not even number. So let me run the code again. So this time I will enter a even number. So it's showing true. So this is the way by using this even number remainder operator, actually we can do lots of operation. For example, a user will give you the input as a year. I mean, the year would be your input, and then you want to see if there's a leap year or not. So you can do that easily by dividing that year by 4. If you get 0 remainder, that means it's a leap year. If there is 1 remainder, that means it's not a leap year. Okay, so I think we're done with remainder operator. We'll see again the use of remainder operator after discussing the conditional statement. Now let's move toward increment operator and decrement operator. So, for example, you ask the user to enter a number, and now you want to increase the number by 1, and then you want to print that number in the screen. So how can we do that? Okay, I will show here after adding 1, the number is something like that. So we want to increase the number by 1. I mean, whatever the user gives us, we will increase that number by 1. So how can we do that? So the normal convention is that we can declare another variable here, and then we add 1 to that number, the number provided by user. So we can do it like that, c plus 1. Then we can print out here the c. Okay, so let's try it. We have to give the parentheses. Okay, let me clear this. Here. Whoops. Good users. Yeah, what is the source of errors? Let me save the file again and then run code again. So it's asking to enter a number. So let me enter 45. So after adding one number, it's become 46. So how can we do that more easily? Actually, we can do that more easily by simply doing one thing, and that is we can do it by adding C++. Okay, let me print the variable name now, and then here we'll also use now. So what's happening here in this line? Actually, uh, the word num plus plus is also the similar the word num equal num plus 1. So after getting the number, it will be stored inside the number num variable, and then the code comes below, and then it will increase 1, and then it will execute the num variable. So now let me try to run the code again. So I'm going to give it 40 again. You can see it now gives output 47 because we increase the value by 1 here and then another one here in this line. So the final value is now 47. So we got output 47. So we can use num plus plus instead of this line. So this is how the plus plus or increment operator works. Okay, let me try it. Run it. Give it 45. So you can see we got 46 as our output. So this is how our increment operator works. So if we talk about decrement operator, it also works in the same way. Instead of increasing the value by 1, it will actually decrease the value by 1. For example, if we take input 45, and then if we use the decrement operator, it will decrease the value by 1 and it will be 44. Let me show you. Okay, now I use the decrement operator, and that is minus minus. And then let me run the code again. So if we give input 45 now, you could see that we got 44 as the final output. So num minus minus, this is the similar as num equal num minus 1. So these two things are similar actually. So sometimes we will need the increment and decrement operator in the same operation, and sometimes we will require them in different operation. So we'll just remember that whenever we use plus plus after a variable name, if it's a number type data, it will automatically increase the value by 1. And if we use minus minus, it will decrease the value by 1. Okay, so we are done with arithmetic operator. Let me know if you have any question.
I'm okay, James. Thank you.
Okay, then we can move to the next part. Okay, I'll provide you the recording of the class so that you can practice. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so actually it will be if else else if then else. Actually, I missed one thing, and that is to discuss about operators, operands, and operators. Let me discuss it. So we know that plus minus these are operator. So and then, for example, if I declare a variable a equal b plus c. So this is a statement. In this statement, the plus that's an operator, and b this is an we'll say b as operands, and c also will be an operands, and we'll say the plus is operator. We can also sometimes say like b as a left operand and c as a right operand. Left operand means the variable that is stayed in the left side of our operator, and right operand means the variable that is stays in the right side of our operator, and a will be the result. A will be the result of this arithmetic operation. So sometimes we'll use the word operands. Operands means the variable. Okay, I mean the variable that is stayed along with arithmetic operator or some other operator. So now we'll move to conditional statement, and that's very important actually, and we can do lots of things by using conditional statement. So if you remember from the pre-programming test, we discussed about the Boolean value, and in that part, in the article, we read that Boolean value are important to control the flow of code execution, and it's also used in the logical operation. So now we'll see how we'll use the Boolean value and how can we control the flow of code. Okay, so for example, I'll take the input from the user. I'll take number from the user as input, and I wanna show the user whether that is a even number or odd number. So how can we do that? I mean, if it's an even number, we'll show in the screen it's an even number. If it's an odd number, we will show in the screen it's an odd number. How can we do that? So this is very easy, and that is we can use the conditional statement. So we'll have three conditional statement, and these are if, else if, and then else. So let me use one by one. So at first, we'll use the if block. So if, so we will show in the screen this is an even number only if the number, I mean the variable num is divided by 2 and we get 0 as remainder. And then we will show in the screen it's an even number. Else if the number is divided by 2 and we got remainder 1, then we will show in the screen it's an odd number. Otherwise, if we don't get any of these, then we'll show it's not a number. Okay, so let me put a logic here. If num, we'll use the remainder operator to equal 0, then we'll show here console.log it is an even number. So actually, let me explain a bit more. We can see that here second bracket, here we can see a second bracket. So only inside this parenthesis, we got true, then the code inside the second bracket will be executed. Otherwise, the code will go down. I mean, for example, if we put here true, okay, if we put here true, it will execute. And as we use here one condition, actually it will check whether we get true or not. So let me execute this code at first, and then we will see how we can execute this code also by using true and false. So else will show it is an number. Okay, let me save it. And now let me run it. Enter number, we say 47. You can see that. Oh, I'm sorry. We need to comment out this line. So let me run again. So 34. You can see it's an even number. So this line is coming from here, the ninth line. And let me clear the sound. Okay, I think we have few minutes left only. I will give you another Zoom link if we are closed, okay? After 9 minutes. So now let me put 45. So you can see it's showing this. It's an odd number. This line is coming from here, 11th number line. So now let me put here, let me declare another variable and put these things inside that variable. So I declare a variable bool and then put things inside the variable and then put bool here. And we also want to see what kind of value we store inside the bool variable. So now let me run the code again, and then I got 34. So you can see here in the line, in the 5th number line, whenever user give input 34, it is stored inside the variable num, and then when it comes to the 7th number line, it says the code try to understand whether the num variable can be divided by 2, and then we get remainder 0. And whenever the code see that after dividing the num variable by 2 we got 0 as remainder, it stores true inside the bool variable, and we can find the true from the number line 8. You can see here true, right? So whenever we say that whenever we'll put true inside the parentheses, the first code block will execute it. I mean, the whatever you write inside the if block, it will be executed. Otherwise, the code will go down and it will execute the other things. So now, let me try to put a odd number. Run the code again. So let me put a odd number, and now you can see it shows false. It's an odd number. So here, let me explain you again. At first, the code after execution, the code takes a input from the user and is stored it inside the num variable, and then it checks here in this line whether after dividing it we get 0 remainder or not. If we get 0 remainder, it will store true here, otherwise it will store false. So as we give input 89, that means it's an odd number, and we'll have 1 as the remainder. That's why it is stored false inside the bool variable. And then when the code is going down, as we know that inside the parenthesis of if block, if you put false, it won't be executed. It will go down. So that's why the if block doesn't execute anymore. It goes to the else block and execute it. Okay, so this is how if and else work. We'll see that what if we'll have multiple condition. For example, you may have a system where you can log in by 3name by using 3name. So how can we do that? You'll see here. Um, at first, let me make sure you can understand everything. Yeah, sure. Go on, Henry.
Hamid, um, this is this the order that you have to put the conditional, uh, always if is first, or there are cases
Can you
with
speak a bit
when else
louder?
is first?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
o-
Can you speak louder?
yeah,
And yeah, sure.
sure. This is this always the order in how to put the conditionals? If is always first, or there are
Yeah, yeah.
cases when
If
else is first?
No, if will always come first, and then we'll get else. Okay. If will always come first. If inside the if block you put false, it won't execute it anymore. It will go down. If the bool variable, I mean inside the parenthesis, it gets true, it will execute the if block, and that time it won't execute else block. Okay, it's like you can say it's like I'll whether I'll do this, otherwise I'll do that, but we won't do the both thing at the same time. It's like that. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let me know if it's clear to you, otherwise I'll give you more explanation.
Yeah, it's clear. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now let's say we have a system where Henry will have only 3 minutes left. If the meeting is end, I will give you another link. Okay.
Okay, I am waiting for it.
Yeah, we'll need to wait for 8 minutes maybe after finishing this meeting.
Okay.
Okay, let me start. So let's say you are asking the user to enter their name, and the user can log in the system only by using 2 or 3 names. So how can we do that? I mean, how can we compare if the username is already in the database or not? So let me clear this thing at first. I'm going to declare a new variable. So let me clear all the things. Okay, so let me declare user name and then prompt enter your name. Okay. Okay, so whenever user will enter their name, we store their name inside the username variable. And now we want to compare the username variable with rename. So what will we do? We'll use else if. At first, we'll compare with username equal. For example, the first name is Henry. So if it's Henry, it will show you. So it will print the screen that welcome. I want to show the name, and then it will show your name is in database. So else if, for example, you have multiple names. So else if you have another name John. Else if you give enter the name John, it will also show you that welcome username. That means John. Your name is in database. Okay, let me put the full stop here. Okay, and let me put this here. So if a user give